out Hush Performance. As you guys can see, this kit is from Hush Performance. It's like quite a few goodies that got sent with this package. Key change, a couple stickers, and don't forget to check out Hush Performance YouTube channel. Taking a look at this kit, it looks like it's, I mean, really beautifully machined here. I don't know, the reflection kind of hides the logo a little bit, but you know, kind of an etched in, CNC'd in logo right there. I think that there are a couple of colors. I did opt for this polished billet color. Obviously it comes with the hardware. Looks like a pretty straightforward install. No instructions in the box, but I believe there's some notes on the install included on the website for Hush Performance. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at those, and then we'll pull up the Integra and then get this install going. See how it goes. Get the Integra pulled up a little bit more here. All right. Nostalgic Honda sounds there. And doing this with one hand, so. All right, guys, I got the hood propped up here. You can see the OG method here of a hood prop works just fine, but you know, adding in a little bit of adding a couple creature comforts to the Integra, so should be a pretty welcome upgrade from the OG hood prop here. I am going to attempt to do this by myself. Hush Performance website, of course, recommends install with 2 people. We'll see how this goes. Just taking an initial look here at the original hardware. Looks like one of the bolts is tucked under this window cowl here. This window cowl right here, I did get from the junkyard just to replace the old one. These tabs over here are, I don't know if it's my luck or if they're just notorious for breaking off, but that's what we're working with here. So let me go grab some tools and then work on removing those brackets. Take off one at a time and then loosen one. here. Oops. We ruined the JD1 piece headlights. Close this a little bit. Watch me struggle. Alright, that wasn't too bad. I've taken this hood off multiple times before, but that was probably one of the easier going times. I did set these 2 foam kneeling pads down in the garage just to help prevent any damage on these edges here. Had those lying around. I do have rubberized horse stall matting for the garage gym, but you know, these are pretty hard, so hopefully that helps out. But definitely have that set up and ready to go prior to picking up the hood. Ask me how I know. We got the hood off, which went fairly smoothly. Taking a look at this, there's that nut that I was originally concerned about getting access to, but looks like this gasket right here peels back quite a ways to give you access to that 10 mil right there. It is pretty rusted out, as you can see there. Just over time, you know, some of this hardware just doesn't have that same coating, same protection that it did from the factories. Obviously, 30-plus-year-old car. But we'll probably spray some PP blaster there to make sure that we're all good to go. Here is the sealant around the original brackets here that Hush Performance recommends taking a razor blade to the edges here before pulling these up, just to prevent some of the paint peel. So we'll go ahead and try to knock that out and then show you guys what that looks like. All right, got the razor blade here. We'll go ahead and try to score around this as closely as possible. Try to get this thing off as clean as possible. You can already see it's gonna be. Not sure if I can get a razor blade down that area right there. Unfortunately, without taking the fender off. Does look like there's a little keyway that comes out with this nut right here, so keep all of that stuff in mind. And then before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I wanted to compare the original bracket with the Harsh Performance bracket. You can see that the footprint for both brackets is almost identical, essentially identical to the OEM bracket. You know, it's much beefier, of course, but you know, that just goes to show the engineering and the thoughtfulness in building this kit out. I know even the website calls out specifically that, you know, this kit is made specific to the DA chassis, and you can see the profile of the two pieces here, and kind of how it's going to come together. Alright guys, looks like we got most of the gasket removed with these trim popping tools. I completely forget where I got this particular kit, but I'm pretty sure you can go to Harbor Freight and pick up any trim popping tools to kind of work at this. Try not to mar the beautiful paint here as much as possible, but I was able to get most of the that sealant off. It was a little bit difficult trying to get back there to get the sealant off the edges over here, but looks like it did a pretty good job. We'll go ahead and grab a couple pieces of hardware here. Try to do a mock fit here. It looks like the holes are pretty ovaled out, or I guess not ovaled out, but looks like the holes are pretty, they leave room for adjustment, let's say that. So we'll go ahead and try this out. See, that sealant's pretty cut out there. Give this one hand here. Looks like it sits pretty nice in there. The holes line up pretty decently. It's just gonna be a tight fit for sure. But as I'm looking at this, the holes do line up, and looks like for the most part we're gonna be able to get this to fit up pretty nicely here. So gonna go ahead and get these bits of hardware in, and we'll give it a test run. I forgot to grab my Allen head. I went back and got my Allen head here. We'll give this a hand started first, of course, and leave it a little bit loose so we can make adjustments if we need. This piece is almost too nice for this car. Alright. I did remove this closest fender bolt right here. I believe that's the one that was talked about in the instructions on the website, but replacement hardware was provided. It's pretty close to the 10 mil that's already there, so probably a super tight tolerance with this installed, but we'll go ahead and cinch this one back down all the way. All right. Now let's get that hood strut in and see what that looks like. All right, taking a look at these hood struts here. Looks like there is, I don't know if you guys can see that. Looks like there's a little clip in here. First time taking a look at these in detail, I think. Okay, that was pretty easy. I just pushed on the back of this clip right here and it swung out. And it looks like you'll be able to, don't lose that. So we'll go ahead and do that to this side as well. Clip right there, we're just gonna push out and then pull out. I think these clips are identical, so there should be no risk in swapping them or mixing them up. But let's take this and mock fit them on the bracket that's on the car. Just a little push on both ends, and I'll look to have done a good job. I'm assuming that the flattest position of where it sits is where I need to cinch this down. So we'll go ahead and try that. Looks like this gasket still mostly works. Again, this is much beefier than the original brackets, but we'll go ahead and try to cinch this down and then see what that looks like. All right, I lied. I am going to remove this, or attempt to remove this, with the hood strut still installed, and apply a little bit of Honda Bond, which is all I have handy right now at the moment, to act as a sealant, similar to what was there for the OE bracket. So hopefully I can make that look semi-decent. Some Honda Bond here. Honda guy's best friend here. I'll go ahead and apply a little bit of that. All right, looks like we have the first hood strut assembly installed here on the left side, the driver's side here. Went pretty smoothly. I went back and forth on whether or not I was going to try to seal it or not, but I did end up using Honda Bond on the base. You can see a little bit of it poking out there, ruining the aesthetics of the hood strut that no one's ever gonna see, but went pretty smoothly, I thought. Once I started cinching down the provided hardware there, the base itself started to find its home. I felt like there was a little bit of play in it, so I wasn't quite sure where to tighten it. But I'm sure something that we can work with once the hood's on. Try to get this. No, this is in a far worse position. We got this bracket in here finally. I might have over Honda Bond. This one a little bit made a bit of a mess here. Thankfully that's gonna be mostly covered up. Should be able to. All right, satisfying click there. All right, I apologize guys, I misspoke again. I am learning as I'm going here. This bolt right here, this closest fender bolt, the hardware isn't for that. The hardware is only for enough for the brackets and then the two to mount the hood. This bolt right here, it says that it needs to be removed altogether, which now makes sense looking at the travel of the hood strut here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this 10 mil, leave it off, and then do the same thing with that to recover that piece of hardware. I've decided that I'm going to release this top hood strut here on both sides to get these brackets to lay flat. Just giving me a more optimal way to get the hood on to the car and then prop back up. All right, looks like we are in a much better spot here. Like I said, I ended up releasing all of this to let it fall where it's gonna sit. But now I'm going to install these brackets to the hood, try to get them as close to the position that they need to be as possible, and then hopefully I can get these hood struts back in with no issues. So I get to much more ideal spot here. Maybe. This is where a battery ratchet probably comes in handy, but probably would strip some threads here, which we don't want to do. All right, we're cooking now. Before we get too far, let's get the other bolt through here. All right, first look, super excited. Have not tried closing the hood just yet, but removed all the tools from the engine bay first, and was able to get those clips in. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. It sits pretty high up, so super maintenance mode, but looks pretty good. I'm super excited about this. Let's put those let's finish putting those clips in, and then we'll try closing the hood. Let's give this a try. Ooh. Comes down a little bit fast, but let's see if this latches. Hey guys, thanks for sticking with me through this install. I hope you guys enjoyed the content and found this helpful. Before we close out this video, I did want to share a few additional notes about the install. Number one, I did buy my particular kit from Hush Performance's eBay site. I got it for about $250 shipped. Their eBay site looks like it only has one combination, the aluminum brackets with the dampeners for a steel hood. If you look at the Hush Performance website itself, it does show that they have one additional color and a few other dampening options. So definitely feel free to check out their website. Point number two, I did want to add a little bit of a nuance to the installation. Something that I ran into when installing the left-hand side bracket, you will notice that you will have to reroute the water line for the hood nozzle. The bracket itself just interferes with that routing. To me, it's a minor trade-off for the convenience of having hood struts. Point number three, I wanted to touch on alignment and just overall fitment with the hood struts installed. The right-hand side fender and hood gaps are perfect with no adjustments needed. The front of the hood latches with no problem. The only issue that I'm running into with my particular panels is that the driver's side hood to fender gap, the hood sits a little bit higher than the fender line. I will have to do a little bit of adjusting. I doubt it's anything related to the kit because the passenger side sits perfect, the front of the hood sits perfectly, and each of the brackets is essentially identical in dimension. So we'll need a little bit of adjusting on my end. Overall, super happy with the kit, and the installation was a breeze. I definitely recommend installing with two people. I got away with doing it with one person, but definitely recommend two people. Anyways, thanks for sticking it out to the end of this video. We definitely have more Integra parts coming. I hope to see you guys in the next one.